This video has been prepared by FSU College of Law students under the supervision of licensed attorneys. It is intended to provide legal education only. The students are not attorneys, and the information provided does not constitute legal advice. We hope this information is helpful.
Hi, today we will be talking about community resources available during this time within Quincy, Florida. There are multiple community resources available in town that could be helpful for families who can use some more assistance during COVID-19. We will also share some tips on how best to stay safe and plan smart during this difficult time. During this presentation, we will discuss available resources within the community, including food banks, clothing closets, and more. We will begin by discussing the available food banks in Quincy. It is important to note that while this list is not all-inclusive, we have compiled a list of food banks that are available during this time and will have future distributions. Bostic Temple Christian Center is hosting food distributions at their church. The distributions start at 12 p.m. and end at 2 p.m. The line is a drive-through because of COVID-19, so you only need to stay in your car and they will pack the groceries for you and bring it to your vehicle. However, the line at Bostic Temple does start early, with some arriving as early as 7 a.m. The food distributions at Holy Community Church are on Sundays, typically before and after their 10 a.m. service. It is recommended to call ahead at the phone number listed to ensure that food packages are available beforehand. FarmShare is an organization that distributes fresh food and produce to those in need. FarmShare focuses primarily on delivering healthy and nutritious food to local communities and does so by organizing various food distributions throughout the state. FarmShare is organizing a food distribution in Quincy on June 24th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. No forms are needed for this event, and it is first come, first serve. This will be held at James Shank Middle School. For more information, Deborah Stokes is organizing this event and can be reached at the number listed for any questions. First Presbyterian Church of Quincy hosts their food bank on Tuesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. Their food bank requires vouchers, which can be brought to the church in exchange for food. These vouchers can be obtained from different agencies within Gadsden County. Because this is an emergency-only program, it is recommended to be used only 3 times a year. However, if more vouchers are needed, accommodations can be made. Here is the list of agencies where you can receive a food voucher. It is important to note that you need a referral from one of the following agencies on this slide in order to receive food. You can pause the video at any time to see the full list of agencies. This is the form for the First Presbyterian Food Bank. You can receive this form from one of the agencies on the previous slide. Once this form is filled out, you will receive a food voucher. It is important to note that this food voucher will be a different color every month. A food voucher can only be used for the month it was received in, so it is important to use a food voucher within the month that you receive it. If you are unable to pick up the food during the food bank hours, call the church at the number listed and they will accommodate your needs. The food distribution for Community Cares Outreach has moved to being on Saturdays and Wednesdays starting at 9 a.m. Community Cares also has a thrift shop, but it has remained closed during this time. Be sure to follow their Facebook for local updates. Fellowship at Midway Church is hosting a food bank that is available on the third Thursday of each month from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. These additional resources can also help you individually search for more food shelters if needed. Food Finder is a website that allows you to find potential food banks after entering your local zip code. It works similar to Google Maps and will highlight shelters in town. Food Pantries works more like a database, in which you can also filter by location to find other potential local food distributions. Clothing closets are also an available resource within Quincy. As well as the food bank, the First Presbyterian Church of Quincy also organizes a clothing closet, in which vouchers are given twice a month on a referral form from the agency you applied with. These clothing closets happen on Tuesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. Because this is an emergency-only program, it is recommended to be used only 3 times a year. However, if more vouchers are needed, accommodations can be made. This is the form for the First Presbyterian Clothes Closet. One of the agencies listed on the food bank slide will help out this form with you, which includes the type of clothes and the sizes needed for you and your family. You will be called when the clothes are ready to be picked up. It is also recommended to call the church to fill out this form beforehand so they can reserve clothes for you and your family. Lastly, we will talk about some additional resources in Quincy available that will cover a wider array of topics. Refuge House is a domestic violence community resource within Gadsden County. The mission of Refuge House is to provide direct services to victims of domestic violence and sexual assault through social services and an emergency shelter. Most non-residential client services will occur over the phone, via Skype, and FaceTime when available. The emergency shelters are operational in accordance with CDC and HUD guidelines. The Domestic Violence Hotline for Gadsden County is also listed on this slide. During this time, legal aid is still available, but if you are undocumented, services are available in the following circumstances: survivor of domestic or sexual violence, parent of a child who has been subjected to domestic or sexual violence, survivor of forced labor or commercial sex, victim of a crime who qualifies for the U visa. The Panhandle Area Educational Consortium is a great community resource whose goal is to link migrant families to services and programs that support the well-being and education of their children. The Migrant Education Program offers services such as free lunch for enrolled migrant students, referrals for health services like screenings and dental care, and referrals for social services to local agencies. If you have further questions, the program director, Dr. Maria Pouncey, can be reached at the number provided. Even though we have to practice social distancing, know that you are not in this alone. We hope that the resources in this presentation can help you during this tough time. We are in this together.
The Public Interest Law Center provides limited legal services, but if you would like to have your legal issue considered, please email us at pilc@law.fsu.edu.